to the ArmChair GM podcast. And just like that, there is 4.
4 squares, 4 nations, 4 all sorts of stuff.
Man, it all comes down to obviously who we thought the 2 final teams would remain. It was lackluster effort by Team Canada to get there, but alas, the gold medal we've all been waiting for. What could possibly go wrong on a Thursday night in Boston? Fuck, I'm scared.
Nothing.
So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? What do you think is going to be the outcome of the grand finale in Boston?
I think Canada wins it.
I think they do too. Just that because of how the stage was set. U.S. going undefeated. The manner in which they manhandled Canada to start the game after our fan base decided that it was a good venue for a political statement, which is disgusting on its face. But it sure has got a lot of people talking about this game, I would say, if nothing else.
Yeah, and where I live in Texas, I've never seen. I host a morning show, and I've had more people comment on our morning show about the hockey that's going on. I had more people talk to me on the, just in the office and things like that. Like it's crazy. There's so much excitement down here for this 4 Nations Cup that probably doesn't even exist when the Stanley Cup Finals are on.
Jeez.
And I haven't seen it since the Olympics. So this has been great for hockey in the U.S.
Yep.
I think it's almost too long of a break, unfortunately. They probably could have been playing that championship game tonight.
It is, but it is too long, I think. It's been 3 nights, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what the NHL could have done differently. And I hope to never see an actual NHL All-Star game ever again.
That was my biggest thing. I was hesitant to even start watching because I was afraid it was going to be a 4-team All-Star, like they've done in the past, right?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, like even that first game, Canada and Sweden, I was like, oh shit, these guys are actually playing. This is great, and the hockey just got better from there.
And it
really has been something else.
Yeah, I had some friends that were commenting. They tuned over to the NBA All-Star game on the weekend, and they turned it off after watching the 4 Nations Cup hockey. Yeah. And they're watching that. They said they can't do it.
Yeah.
And they're not hockey fans, but they are now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, most all-star games essentially are a farce, right? They don't really mean anything. I think MLB is the only league where winning your all-star game actually gives the winning team of that league.
But you can still play baseball at a level that is very close to baseball as it should be played in the All-Star game, except for the fact they change pitchers every inning or let the starter go too. But the game is played like baseball's meant to be played, right? Where NHL All-Star game is played like, really good shinny on a pond.
Yeah, it's a circus. Yeah, it's a circus.
Yeah, well, it's a circus. I mean, the NFL has gone that route too, right? I don't know if anybody. I'm a sports person, so I tune in. But I mean, the NFL All-Star Game or whatever All-Star Weekend has turned into an absolute joke as well, right?
I mean, it's
playing flag football. Like, what happened to the days of Sean Taylor absolutely destroying guys on the field? Like, this is what people want to see, right?
Yeah. This is why they buy tickets. Right? It's not to watch that.
I haven't been watching for several reasons, but I will say I would much rather watch this than the All-Star game. I still haven't been watching it, but I would much rather watch this than the All-Star game.
I was on Team Dylan. I wasn't going to watch this because I had no interest in it because I thought it was just fabricated, made for TV. And I guess it kind of turned out to be that way, but it's been really good hockey. And I think that's probably what I didn't think it was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Olympic caliber hockey. It's awesome. I don't know how you could change it. I was talking with a friend of mine today. I said, I think because everybody's saying, oh, we need more countries. We need more countries. Well, the Czech Republic, Czechia, has 26 players in the NHL at the start of the year. Unless you dig down into the AHL and bring some players up from there, you don't have enough players to fill a team Germany or Slovakia or Czechia. Russia, if the war ends in Ukraine, I think you keep it at 4 nations, but the fourth place team gets booted out and Russia comes in.
I think that's a weird thing, right? Because Russia's been annexed from competition well before that war started. Like,
Yeah.
it's been going on a decade now. It's been a long fucking time.
Yeah,
On and
Obviously,
off,
the
From the
war is not
Olympics,
helping.
yeah, but I don't think not from NHL type of. Well, we haven't had an NHL type of international
Yeah.
tournament forever either.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been quite some time for the juniors. I can't remember though. The war there has been going on for so long. Anyways, maybe it has only been 3 years for all I know. It's been a while though.
think
I
they
know
were back
Olympic.
for a few
It's
years.
been quite. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the war happened, so I was like, well, fuck. I guess they're not getting back anytime soon. So that
Yeah,
sucks.
but I mean, you got to even think though. Even the Olympics had some form of what was it? The international Russian whatever they called it, where they were still allowed to compete, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah,
make
what
the
did they?
same-
What was the name they gave them? What was the name they
Hockey
gave them?
players or
Russian Federation or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something weird, but I mean, let
Call
them
them the
compete.
Soviets and then let it be done with.
hockey players from the Russian Federation or some stupid
Yeah.
shit like that. But like, because we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about this tournament though that does surprise me after all of this. We're nearing the end of it, and the single most important guy in the tournament in the gold medal game, in my opinion, is the 37th best goalie in the NHL, which is Jordan Binnington. Whereas the second best goalie in the tournament, Logan Thompson, the second best goalie in the NHL this year, save percentage wise, Logan Thompson isn't even there, even though he should be.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I never thought I'd say Jordan Binnington would be Canada's goalie for an international style tournament.
No.
And here he is in the gold medal game. That's pretty crazy to me.
Well, Canada's goalie depth is so shot right now. Like they got nobody. I don't think you can think of anybody that's coming up that would be considered a top guy, other than obviously Thompson having the year that he's having right now, right?
Yeah,
I think
Thompson and
from a
Hill
development standpoint, I think Canada, that's where we're lacking, right? I mean, we've always been known for good goaltenders, for the most part.
There's a couple young guys coming up. I don't know how good they're going to be, obviously, because we can't predict, especially goalies. But there's the Jack Ravensburg guy, who's I don't know much about him, but I do know that he's a young Canadian goalie who's supposed to, be the next guy. But there's not much. It's not like we don't have Askarov or Wolf or any, we don't have young superstar goalies coming up in the Canadian ranks, which is too bad.
No, it's a problem. No. And I would even argue that if you look at I think our forwards are pretty solid, but I don't know that our defense even stacks up to the U.S. defense.
Certainly not the defense that they invited to the tournament.
Yeah.
No.
Right? I mean,
you think Peter Angelo's having second thoughts about stepping away from this thing?
I mean, maybe now.
Maybe.
I'm having. I want to know why fucking Drew Doughty's there. We're just doing it for nostalgia now. There's no reason for him to be on that team.
He played 3 games.
No
reason.
Should
be good, or 4 games.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the same reason they invited Binnington. He's paid his dues. He won a Stanley Cup. He hasn't been able to represent Canada anywhere. So, the NHLPA probably had some say in that. They felt they had, but why they're sticking with them.
I can't believe he's getting all the starts. That just blows me away.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I didn't catch the third period of the last game, but he wasn't really tested through the first 2 periods.
No.
But man, that second goal against Team USA, it just deflated the whole team.
Yeah. That's one of those. It's the first or second shot against Markstrom 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what the fuck? Like, get in front of it.
Only thing that would have made it worse is if it would have sneaked through his pads.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah,
the same.
he hasn't looked good, let alone great. Like he almost lost us the game against fucking Sweden in the first game.
But if
We
he
had a
doesn't
nice
make the
handy
saves
lead.
in the overtime, then we're not even in the game on Thursday. Like that's the crazy part. But you know, that game against the US, he let that second goal in, and that was just, you know, then he had to make big saves because the defense was taking chances trying to get the equalizer.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all true.
And you look at
I mean,
like you look at some other guys that were selected, like Colton Parayko. Like I don't mind Parayko as a player. In fact, I like him, but I think that there's probably like 6, 7, 8, 9 guys who probably deserve to be. It's almost like
Although I think
I was
he's been
just
one of
looking
the
through the
defensemen in
staff.
this tournament.
I don't see anybody who plays or is in management for the St. Louis Blues, but it looks like this team was picked by the Blues.
Well, except for the Tampa line that obviously John Cooper wanted some familiarity with, but they've been pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting that he put them together, right?
And Hagel has.
I mean,
been
stick to
pretty
what
good
you know,
this
I guess.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Cooper's been good too, I think.
I think so too. I don't know if you.
I mean, but
they had.
how do you not be good with that roster though? With the
yeah,
high end, you know, the first 2.5 lines. I mean, fuck.
But it was
I
pretty
hope he
funny
improves
watching
that.
the ESPN feed of that Canada US game or the ABC feed, and Emily Kaplan was the ringside reporter, which I think is gimmicky, but she actually asked good questions, so I don't have an issue with her on the bench. But she asked John Cooper, "Did you have any idea that was going to happen at the start of the game?" And he had a smirk on his face, like, "Oh yeah,
yeah."
Even though he said no.
Yeah. We, after, like, you couldn't have written it up better, right? The booing of the crowd, you got the Kachucks on the ice, and then even the cameraman, as they're booing, just the close-ups to the American players' faces, and you're like, shit.
There we
Something's going down. Yeah.
Speaking of shit, Bettman must have shit his pants when he saw 3 fights in the first 9 seconds on a game that had probably the biggest audience in the U.S. ever. It just proves he's out of touch with that part of the game.
Yeah,
and it needs.
But I mean, honestly, that sold the game.
Absolutely,
like, that's
and
what
it
people
sold
are
the
talking
fans
about.
here. They were tuning into the highlights to check it out on X and Instagram and everywhere else that YouTube, and that's all they were. That's all they're talking about down here. They're waiting. They want to see it happen again tomorrow, and it's not going to.
No, tomorrow will be different.
You guys hear Doughty saying he basically saying it without saying it that he's would fight Kachuk if he got the chance, even though he's had like 18 chances and fucking has just skated away every time.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see if I mean, I think he's going to make it, but apparently the reports coming out, some of the reports coming out of the news in the States are saying that well, after that Canada game, he was pretty limping pretty hard. They said the boss had a hard time walking. Kachuk.
Okay, yeah.
Matthew. Anyway, Matthew Kachuk. Well, they essentially said that he was pretty banged. From the looks of it, they said he was pretty banged. He looked pretty banged up. Like he looked like he was pretty hard up. So there were speculation this morning on whether or not he would play, and it's like, well, no, he's going to play. It's just a matter of
he's going to play. Yeah.
How effective is he going to be? Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's true. I think both
Matthews,
are going to play.
I think is done, right? Austin Matthews probably isn't playing tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, he's been a non-factor. He's been a nothing in this tournament anyways, as is most of his career. Other than the 15 highlight reel goals that he gets a season. Like, other than that, he's nothing on the ice. I couldn't think of a nicer guy to not play a game, to be honest with you. I can't stand him. Just like, for the profile and the notoriety that he gets, I don't see it. I
He
never have.
scored like 70 fucking goals last year.
Yeah.
So
that
what?
would really suck to have a 70 goal
What-
center.
Was he still minus fucking 5?
I highly doubt it.
Like the big conversation about Ovechkin versus Crosby as far as goal scorer or hockey player. Yes, he can score goals, but that's it. Like outside of scoring goals, I don't know what he provides to team.
I mean, he was a plus 25. He almost, or yeah, plus
Sure.
25.
Good.
Plus 31. My bad. I was looking at the wrong year. Plus 31. But no, honestly, like, I think you're not paying much attention because the dude gets like sulky consideration. Like, he has been a power play or a penalty kill guy and has actually been pretty fucking good at it for the past few years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I try to watch very little Maple Leaf games if I can.
I do too. I just pay a
But
bit
you know
of
what, though?
attention
But I think Chris is right in a way because he hasn't carried that team to where they think that he should have. Right? He's not lifted him in the playoffs. He's disappeared this Four Nations Cup, and maybe he's hurt, and that could be why. But he's not the he's not the American Gretzky that they were all thinking he was going to be when he joined.
No, they disappear in the
agreed.
playoffs. The Leafs in general, just kind of like the Flames do a little bit too when they actually make it. But I don't think Marner disappears in the playoffs as much as people think. But
I don't think so either. I was just going to say that. You know who doesn't disappear in the playoffs as well as this tournament is Mitch Marner.
he has very similar stats to Gaudreau in the playoffs, which is actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
And to think the fans there want to run him out of town every offseason.
So badly. Yeah, every year. I've never understood it. I would take him on my team in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's crazy not to.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's a selfless player. I like him.
He's being managed by the expert of letting guys, superstars, walk in free agency. So I guess we'll see what happens.
That's right. Yeah, when's his contract up? Brad's going to let him go for nothing.
This year, I believe.
Sweet.
He's
Make it
hasn't
happen,
been
Craig.
extended. Yeah.
Go bring him on over.
But then he signs Nylander to it. Well, I mean, it's typical. He signs Nylander to a contract that probably shouldn't have been signed. But anyway, that's the Leafs' problem, not our problem. But
yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I think we're going to see I think we're going to see a 4-3 Canada win tomorrow.
4-3. Oh yeah, I was going to say.
I can see that.
Maybe an empty netter to make it 5-3. But I don't think.
I was going to say, do you think it's going to overtime? I think that would be pretty sweet too. That would be electric.
Oh, speaking of which, there's the thing that if anything else comes out of this Four Nations Cup, the NHL needs to move to 3-on-3 10-minute overtime. Get rid of the shootout.
Yeah. Get rid
I'd
of
like
it.
to see them get rid of 3-on-3 overtime in general and go to back to 4-on-4. They won't, but I don't like 3-on-3 overtime. I don't think it's hockey. The constant regrouping is a joke to me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. If we can get rid of the shootout and then just bring back ties.
Yeah.
You get one, whatever. If they have to do the 3 for a regulation win for points, then fine. But I think bring back ties. 10 minutes on the overtime with 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, whatever. But yeah, that's actually been pretty exciting. When they first put it up, I didn't realize they were doing that. When that first game went to overtime, I was like, oh shit, we got 10 minutes of this. Nice.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I'd rather watch that than a shoot. I'd rather watch 10 minutes of that than 5 minutes in a shootout.
I do agree with that.
Yeah. How sweet was that?
They should stop rewarding losing at all. Like if you're
That's exactly
if you lose in a shootout or an overtime, like all you've done is take longer to suck instead of sucking in regular. Like you should be 0. Just have 0 points.
I agree with you. I completely
there's no
agree.
point in that. Just have 1 point for an overtime shootout win because it took you longer, and have 2 points for a regulation win and 0 points for any loss.
Yeah. Or you just split it up. Like you do If it's regulation or
Discouraging the
overtime, you get your 2 points. Loser gets nothing. If you tie, you each get one. Done.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to add an extra point to the system. You know,
Yeah.
if nobody wins, you each get one. Whatever. If you don't win, why do you get a point? We're just handing out fucking participation medals now. Why do you get a
Exactly
point
where
for
I was
not
gonna
winning?
go with it. It's like my fucking
Like,
my gym teacher, my junior high gym teacher, be rolling over to the grave right now if he,
oh yeah,
if he was aware.
yeah. Mr. McIntyre, my gym teacher in middle school would not be on board with with an extra point for losing.
There was
That was
nothing
not a
worse than
thing.
getting that
Yeah.
participation
Oh,
badge. Just if you didn't get gold, silver, or bronze, you didn't want that stupid participation one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The purple one. I'm pretty sure it was purple all around the board. It's like, and everybody knew, like,
Everybody got one, and nobody
that.
wanted it.
my daughter, who's soon to be 16, when she was fairly young, she was horse riding, jumping, that sort of thing, and she went to a tournament, got second place. They put it on her. She took it off and threw it to the ground, and came over and said, "I didn't win." And I go, "That's right. But you did good.
Proud dad
You,
moment.
you, you did just fine, though. Don't you worry about
Or
it."
more
And
the words
so
of Ricky
she walked
Bobby,
away,
fucking second
and I
place
picked it
beats
up
the
for her.
first loser.
Yeah,
Well, it's like
exactly.
my kid Malcolm. Like, he doesn't understand. He's like, "Well, Dad, did we win the tournament?" Well, he did all right. Well, then
Yeah.
if we did all right, then why is everybody else getting a medal? Well, that's another story for another day.
Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of medals and stuff, is there an actual prize for this Four Nations thing, or like what are they getting, or is it just bragging rights, or
It's bragging rights.
cash
I think
prize?
there's some money involved.
Yeah. So
And they're going to have to do some money involved, right? Because I'm sure the insurance companies are just shitting their pants for this tournament, right? The
everyone's
actual
first.
season is on pause, and we got like 15 players that have suffered injuries of some way.
Yeah, well, that's how you know this thing actually means something, because they're playing harder than they do during the regular season.
Yeah.
Even guys who
Yeah.
aren't playing,
Yeah.
fucking Uyghur said today that he was going to hurt Coleman. That they were
Right.
going to have the fisticuffs going on over this.
Over the game.
They're not even playing. They're just going to watch the game together and drop the gloves.
I think Uyghur should have been there for Canada, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
You
Yeah.
want to know a weird stat that I saw the other day when I was looking up weird stats? Uyghur leads the league in giveaways by defensemen. I'm pretty sure Team Canada knew that.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises
That's
me.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he plays.
Where is he on takeaways?
I don't know. I'd have to look it all back up.
I thought that might have been Oliver Shillington.
Well, he has.
I think he's only played 6 games.
That's more than enough for him to lead the league in that category. Then
I
Well,
was having the
he leads the
Carlson
league in
argument with
Bambi.
someone. How bad Eric Carlson is at actually doing the job that he's supposed to do, and I was looking up who was leading the league in giveaways by defensemen over the past few years. He was like, he's second this year. He was third last year, 8th the year before, and first the year before. And I just happened to see that Uyghur was first this year. While I was looking at that, I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
Carlson's actually he looked pretty good in the tournament.
I've heard that.
All things considered, he way better defensively than he has shown, in my opinion, in the last 5 years.
when I saw the rosters, I actually thought Finland might be a bit of a surprise, but they just were nothing. And Rantanen, wow, completely different player since leaving Colorado. Yeah. I've watched a few Carolina games. He hasn't shown me much. And then watching this Four Nations, the guy was just, it looked like he had lead in his skates.
So I was looking at that because, I think he's quite demoralized because he went from a team that plays their superstar players like fucking 30 minutes a night to Rod Brindamore, who's like, oh, here's 12 minutes for you, right? And
Carolina
that's
does
a
it
bit of
for
an
you, you know, like
exaggeration.
Colorado does, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But Brindamore's done that. Like Brindamore doesn't play Svechnikov very much. He plays Aho like most teams play their second line center. You know, he's just
Brendamore's not going to play you if you can't do 200 burpees before the game, anyways.
yeah. If you can't run from Boston to fucking Montreal in 20 minutes, you're kind of hooped.
Your bench had to fucking fly here. Beat it, loser.
Well, that's the problem. He was in Denver, and he was like, "Well, we have to send a jet for you. You're not gonna run to Raleigh. What the fuck's with that?"
You'll be here on time.
Well, that's what happens sometimes, man. Guys that are superstars in one places, sometimes they don't turn out to be that way in other places. Maybe supporting
I don't
cast
know
has
who
a
you're
lot to
talking
do with
about.
that.
Shut up.
So next year they're off to the Olympics. In 27, when they do this thing again, what would you think? Vancouver and Seattle as the host cities?
For the Olympics? Fuck, I hope we
No,
don't pay
for
for
the
it.
Four Nations Cup when they do it in 27.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Italy next year.
So, someone was bringing up like they like to do stuff like this. Now, obviously, Boston Montreal is a bad example, but they like to do stuff like this in new arenas. Like when they chose the bubble, it was the brand new arena, the newest
Right.
arena, right? Who's going to have the newest arena?
Yeah. Calgary Edmonton would be pretty slick too.
That'd be fucking nuts. But
Yeah, but
they
they
probably
would
want to have one in the States again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be the closest? Like Chicago?
Denver.
Denver would be closest, yeah.
Yeah, Denver. Yeah, you're right.
Minnesota's not too far away either.
Yeah. Yeah, Colorado would work, right?
But I don't think Rogers
still-
Place is that bad.
No,
Yeah,
but
really,
I could see
visiting teams,
Seattle and Vancouver though. That does make sense, especially logistically, for the teams to travel from game to game. I mean, that's what is that, like a 38-minute bus ride, for Christ's sake.
The only issue is you put it on the West Coast, you're starting games at 4:00, so the guys on the East Coast can catch them during prime time.
True.
Yeah, they do like to make sure that's happening.
But it would make it interesting. I think it would be pretty cool to be out west.
What time's the final? Is it 6 Mountain, 8 Eastern?
Tomorrow? I'm not sure.
I sure hope so. I hope they're not going to do like an afternoon thing.
No.
Really,
Well, the only reason I think they
my
played
work
that
day.
afternoon game
It's an evening game. I just can't remember. Tony mentioned it earlier. I think it's 7 o'clock our time, maybe.
7 o'clock my time.
There you go.
6 o'clock your
6.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That gives me plenty of time to grab my my steaks and beer that I need for my fishing trip, watch the game, marinate the steaks. Yep, head out in the morning. I like it. It's going to be a good night. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there is time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
I'm looking forward to getting some Flames hockey back, though.
That's going to be great, right? Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
San
to that.
Jose.
And the
Might
Flames
as well
have an
start out
absolute
light.
gauntlet of
That'll be a loss in typical Flames fashion.
We only have the one player representing the Flames, don't we? So he'll be beat up, but at least he hasn't played for 3 days, so he should be
Oh
good.
yeah, he won't have played for almost a week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would be good.
which is good, and I'm happy about that, because I really, one of the things that was annoying me about the tournament is that it's mid, it's in the middle of the season, and like the only guy we have going is the guy who I think needs a rest the most on our fucking team.
That's normally the case.
Yeah, we've got after San Jose, we've got an absolute gauntlet of contenders to play against. We've got the Capitals, the Lightning, the Panthers, the Hurricanes, and then one against the lowly Philly Flyers, and then the Stars. So there's quite a gauntlet, and
That's
like to
just
see the Flames
solidify
road
our
trip.
spot as a bottom 10 team.
I think it's
Yeah.
possible. And from what I've heard, I mean, today we got news that Ilya Solovyov and Jan Kuznetsov got called up, which I'm happy about, because as much as I haven't minded Hanley, I thought he's outplayed his, for the most part, he's outplayed, what he should be playing at, which is like a 6-7, and he's been playing like a 5-6 type of thing, and actually been doing pretty good. But Barry's been terrible, and Miromanov's been terrible, and if they're done with all three of those guys, and they can just like actually start bringing these young guys who seem like they're ready to at least be with the NHL team, whether they're in the press box every once in a while or whether they're playing pretty much every game or not, I'd like to see that. And I also think they fit the team's scheme when it comes to age and when it comes to defensive play as well. Obviously Solovyov played a game with Uyghur before the break, and I thought that before the entire team fell apart, I thought that they were actually really, really good together. I was quite impressed with what I saw out of Solovyov that one game.
That road trip, it's going to be a defining moment for the Flames for sure. I was just looking at it there. If the Rangers win on Saturday, and the Flames lose, there's a chance we'll actually be the bottom 13 by Monday or by Sunday. So that's looking closer and closer, right? And, you look at a road trip like that, and the Rangers are 2 points behind us, Islanders 3, Utah's 3, Montreal's only 5 points behind us, and St. Louis, and then we're well in the thick of it in the bottom 10, getting that draft pick that we need.
Yeah, we've got a game against Montreal and a game against the Islanders still to go here next month as well. So,
not that I'm rooting for them to lose, but if they happen to lose, I'm not gonna cry in my milk.
I'm just a
I'll
little
be
bit
okay with it.
I'm worried about, as most Flames fans are, I'm worried about losing that first round pick and not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's one or the other for me. And
yeah,
I think
missing out on the wild card game
to,
on the last night of the season would be a disaster for the franchise. right?
Yeah.
That's not where we need to be. It's not where we need to be at all. It's either let's draft. We still got another, couple of seasons worth of development to go here, and then we can see if we can make a serious push after that once the new arena is up and running.
I
With
was,
any luck.
and yeah, I heard from one of the guys that was one of the beat writers that was at practice today. Apparently Zeri looks fucking great, and Ball's looking pretty good too. So that adds, one of the best defensemen back to the team, and one of the only puck carriers who can actually carry the puck properly to the team as well. So,
Well, somebody needs to let them know that we're going in a different direction at the moment.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think anybody wants the players or the coaches to be purposely losing.
And they won't. I mean, I think that's a myth that fans have, that players don't want to win.
Players don't do it.
Tank it. It just doesn't happen.
Management
Any-
can make it happen, but management can't make players not play.
They can make moves that make it tougher for teams to win. Absolutely.
Should sign James Neal, put him on the first
Oh,
line.
don't you even bring that up. Jesus.
Anybody that's ever played sport knows, even no matter what your game plan is going into a game, when you start getting into the game, you're not playing to lose. You don't play to lose.
Oh,
ever.
100%. They're professionals, right? I mean, they've been working their whole life to kind of get to this point. So it's like, if you think they're gonna 1 minute gonna start not doing
It's aside from winning Stanley Cups, these guys are focused on their own stats, on their own relationships with their teammates, and salary. And in order to get any of that, there needs to be full effort.
Yeah.
And also, like, with these two specific players we were talking about, I believe they're both pending RFAs. So, if they're going to purposely lose, then they're just costing themselves money in their contract here.
Yeah,
they're dipping their stock down for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, paving the way for the old bridge deal. I hear Matthew Tkachuk loved his.
He did. He really did.
He did, until Tree decided not to show him any respect.
Well, he
Right.
still did, because he was able to go where he wanted to go faster.
Sure.
But still, when a superstar player, or a guy who looks like he's going to be a superstar player, is like, "Hey, manager, can I please have a long-term contract?" The manager should be like, "Yes, you fucking can," and not like, "No, you fucking can't."
You know what? Come and sit at my desk. Let's have a chin wag.
When he's like
Having
22
him at
years old.
what, the 6 or 7 or 8 million that it would have cost at the time to lock him up long term, boy, that would have looked nice, wouldn't it have?
Yeah, it would have been like 7.
100%.
That would be an absolute bargain today.
Yeah.
And
And
he'd
we'd
still be on it for
still
like
have
2 more
4 years of it. Yeah.
And he'd have that
Yeah.
fucking letter on his jersey too. Most likely.
Yeah, he would be a captain, just like his baby brother. But no. Here's your 3-year. You did give him a 3-year or a 2-year? It was a 3-year, wasn't it?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was sizable and it was good.
Sure.
It was just
Is Ottawa the Buffalo of Canada? All this young talent, and everybody thinks they're always going to do something at the start of the year. And then when the season starts, they come out flat, and they just never, ever seem to live up to the expectations that everybody has for them.
I like that analogy. The Buffalo of Canada, 100%, without question.
Whenever you think about it, like if somebody goes, what teams, well, if I'm talking to an American generally, they're like, what teams are in Canada? So I start listing them off. It's always Ottawa that I have to think about at the end. Always. I don't know why. I understand, the significance of the city and all that fun stuff, but they're like the forgotten team. And they're the only team that I will actually get behind and somewhat cheer for in a playoff surrounding out of all the other Canadian teams. And people are like, you gotta cheer for your Canadian team because you're Team Canada. Fuck
No, you
that.
don't. That's
Fuck
bullshit.
that is right.
I'll cheer a little bit for Winnipeg, maybe. Now that they're not in the Smythe division with us, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will too. I'm with Chris when it comes to the whole.
Yeah, like I can't cheer for
Everybody's
Montreal
gonna cheer
because
for a
you know,
Canadian
I've been
team.
a fan since the '80s. Can't cheer for Toronto for obvious reasons. The Oilers, obviously, and Vancouver. Like, what do you want here? Like, I'm not cheering for any of those teams for in any surrounding.
I
I'd
find
rather
it.
choose for Minnesota.
Right. You know what? I've become somewhat of a Minnesota fan because one of my guys at work, he's been a Minnesota fan for a long time. He's from just outside of Halifax, and so he's been a Flames fan since he's been here, but he's been a Minnesota fan for quite some time. And so I started paying attention to him, and I don't know. I mean, obviously one of the most boring teams to watch on a Wednesday night, but
They're not anymore though.
no, they're not anymore. They have some decent talent, and you know it's unfortunate that they can't figure out a way to make it out of the first round or even into the playoffs most year. It makes no sense to me.
I still think they're kind
they're
of
my
boring.
cup
They're
picks
the
this year.
New Jersey Devils of the 2020s.
Right. Yeah, right.
Did Dylan just say that Minnesota is a cup pick this year?
Yep,
Thing.
Bold prediction time.
they've been.
We've been
hitting
away from the
around,
podcast for a
they-
couple of weeks, so Dylan's just been waiting for something outrageous to say.
Well, that's not surprising.
They played half the year without Kaprizov. They played a bunch of the year without Spurgeon. They played a bunch of the year without Gustafsson. They played a bunch of the year without like all of their best players, and they're third in their division. Like I think they're really underrated, and I think once they get all their guys back, they're going to be. I mean, they were really, really fucking good to begin the year until Kaprizov went down too.
He's a hell of a player.
What in the hell of a futures pick? That's for sure.
Boldy is fucking amazing too.
That's the kind of player that you wouldn't mind seeing at like a Four Nations type tournament.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You mean Kaprizov, the athlete from the Russian Federation?
That's right.
That guy. Yeah. Maybe an Ovechkin, you know, in his legacy season or whatever the hell this is turning into. Like he's actually, I think he might take that record this year instead of, you know, 3/4 of the way through next year. Like that was the plan.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Yeah.
The ageless wonder that is Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd do it. Now there's no way he can't.
Yeah, right. Barring something drastic happening.
Yeah, unless, you know, Gretzky hires, you know, Tanya Harding to go after his knee.
Right? You know, or LA signs Gretzky to you know half a season contract and lets him go, right? He's got 10 in him for sure.
Easily. Just put him on the power play.
That's right. Just stand in front of the net. We're just gonna call you Neil. Just sit there. Pucks are gonna graze off your ass. You'll be fine. The equipment is way better now. Don't worry about it.
I don't know how I feel about Ovechkin breaking that record, to be honest.
You know, I've always been on that train, to be honest. Like I've always considered, obviously he's a hell of a goal scorer. You can't take that away from him.
No, not at all.
But I mean, you got those two players that were drafted at, you know, kind of the same time, and I know who I'm picking 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, I'd much rather have Crosby too. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like it's not like Ovechkin's not going out there and breaking all of Gretzky's records. He's breaking one record, and he's got nowhere close to the amount of points as Gretzky has assists. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not like he's the greatest player ever. It's that he's a really good fucking goal scorer, and he's breaking.
No, but if you talk to anybody that's been a Ovechkin fan, they will tell you he's the greatest player to ever play the game.
Well, they'd be wrong.
while looking you straight in the eyes and serious. And it's like, dude,
Well, I think Jonathan
he's not the greatest player on your team. Like, what the hell? He's the greatest goal scorer on your team for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as player, no.
No, he's
Yeah.
but he just finds a way to get open, and even when you try to pay attention to him, he gets it done. He's just
blows my mind how a guy can stand still for fucking 20 years and
Yeah,
guys
in one
won't go
spot
pick him up.
within 6 inches of one mark on the ice, and
Yeah.
he's still
and nobody can stop.
goalies have not figured him out. Yeah, that's the incredible part. Right?
Well, just, that
Yeah.
shot is just so fucking fast. Like, my God. When you watch him snipe from that spot, I don't give a fuck who you are.
And honestly,
Why isn't he winning the slap shot competition then? Because they do it from the blue line and not the hash?
And nobody's
because he's
feeding him
got
that
they've
pass
got
on
to
a
skate into
one-timer.
it. He's not standing there like this. He's got to skate into
Yeah.
Well, fuck,
Nobody can carry it.
maybe they should just let him stand there and do the shot then.
it. And to me, with the whole Ovechkin thing too, like, I think he's a better player than people give him credit for all around. Like, yes, he stands there on the power play and scores from there, but over the past, like, for the first few years, he was very one-dimensional, but he became very physical and he became actually kind of underrated defensively. Best player in history? Fuck no. Best player in the league? No. But
And he's not small. I mean, he's a pretty good
he's a
sized guy.
fucking
But
Yeah.
when he kind of endeared himself to me was his post Stanley Cup celebration, and just how, I mean, because the Russians always have this stereotype of not being very, they're only here for the money. They don't give a shit about the Stanley Cup. They don't, yeah, it's nice to win it, but they don't care. That guy loved winning the Stanley Cup more than he loved, I think, anything else.
that party is fucking legendary.
Oh yeah, the fountain drinking, like just out of control. It pretty much set the standard for what you see now, right? When you look at Kucherov and how freaking bombed he was, like it's like this is how it's going to be from now on. This is great.
Kucherov, it's the greatest interview.
Dallas, not like Ovechkin.
Jack.
About those Russians, that Kucherov. Be good to see Kucherov in this tournament too.
Yeah,
true.
Well, like you were saying with Ovechkin and kind of the toughness, you got to remember too. You remember that World Juniors that you played against Canada, and they absolutely fucking punished him. I think it was for the first 10 minutes, and you never saw him again in that game. And I think that's probably in his mind where he realized that, oh shit, I'm going to the big game. This is the way it's going to be. I have to develop myself here, and that's kind of when he started to get a little bit more tough, a little bit more resilient in most terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm a big fan of Alex Ovechkin. Again, like, I'd pick Crosby. I'd pick, there's probably, 10 guys in the league, 10, 15, forwards in the league I'd pick before him. But I still am a big fan of his game all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am as well.
That's fair. That's fair.
Here's the thing. He's done it with guys that, like me. It's not like Brett Hull with Adam Oates, right? And you got a guy feeding you 90 assists. I mean, he's got different guys feeding him the puck every game and every year.
But the difference between Hall and Oates was those passes were going all over the place. They were a tandem going down the ice. And they're. You know what I mean? Where Ovechkin is just, it's easier to train a guy to hit that spot with your pass every time. Just pass it there. Don't even look. Just pass it. Just go.
Nicholas Backstrom has assisted on 275 goals, and that's the most.
Nice. That's cool.
Just on Ovechkin goals. And that's the most of any player.
What's he at now?
That's a fucking ton. And that's like a quarter of the goals he scored.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
you might get it this
Michael
year.
has been fucking killing it this year with him too, right? Like, yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I didn't think he had a chance to get it this season. Now I actually
No,
think
me
he
neither.
might. I feel like he's actually going to get it, which is pretty nuts, especially at his age.
Yeah, no, once he fucked up his leg, I was like, okay, we're looking at next year. We'll see it
Yeah.
next year. And then all of a sudden just went on an absolute fucking tear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, should we leave it there with the Ovechkin talk on a Flames podcast?
Yeah, why not? Thanks
I
for
don't know.
coming, guys. Really appreciate you popping by. I didn't have all that much to say about the Four Nations as I haven't been watching, so it's nice to have a couple guys in who've been watching.
Hey, Dylan, I can't believe that Mangiapane jersey stayed on the wall, didn't fall down.
Oh,
I was waiting
that's
for you to make
fucking
that
good.
joke.
That's fucking good. I like that. That was wait. That's how you end it, right there. That's it. Got it. Send it to production.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant to say was thanks for coming on the show, guys. It's been a lot of fun. It was great to have some insight from somebody deep in the trenches in the heart of Texas,
Yeah.
which I don't know. What do you own anything, Canada? No, I'm kidding. I know you do.
You should pick
The
up that jersey and show everybody.
come on,
Yeah.
gotta show the even guys that live in Texas. Hell yeah! Look at that bad boy.
fucking
Love it.
classic.
Oh,
So Ash, when Canada wins this thing in overtime, you're gonna like run out your front door screaming, right? Like just
No,
talk to
actually,
them.
I got a guy that owns a bar here. He's actually going to put the game on, and we're having a watch party.
Nice.
nice.
And it'll probably be. He's originally from Pittsburgh, so he's a Penguins fan. So we go at it a little bit, but there'll actually probably be some people there to watch the game because it's like I said, I've been surprised at the interest that this has generated in NHL hockey.
I'm surprised it has, and I'm happy it has because all of this grow the game shit that's been going on for the past few years that's barely been working. If this is what does it, I'll eat my words, man. I didn't think it was going to get nearly as much watch time as it has. I thought most people were going to take a break from hockey, and here we are. People are loving it. So
I didn't think I'd
good on
watch
the
it.
league.
I was like you, Dylan. I wasn't excited about the concept. And then you had guys, starting to say they weren't going to play in it, and so I was just like, this is going to be crap. But it hasn't been.
Yeah, I was pleasantly
Yeah.
surprised, even though I'm on the side of the athletes from Russia should be there. But yeah, I was
I agree with that.
pleasantly surprised by it.
But I bet in 27 when they do it again, because next year nobody doesn't answer the call for the Olympics, right? But in 27 when they do this again, I bet you there won't be anybody going, no, I'm not going to go play. They're gonna answer the call.
Yeah,
I think so,
absolutely.
too.
I was pleasantly surprised too. I mean, I planned on throwing it on the iPad and whatever, have it in the corner and glance at it every once in a while, because I mean taking a break from hockey in February for 2 weeks just isn't quite in my DNA, and so I started watching it, and then I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I better put this on the big screen too, because this is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Fuck's sake. Yeah, no, so it's been good. It's been good. I love it. All right, guys.
Good.
Well, until we all meet again, go Team Canada.
Go
Go
Canada.
Flames.
Go Canada.
Cheers.